council on the first and third Tuesday of each month. We are not preceding a regular common council meeting, we are preceding a special meeting of the common council, and it is not the first or third Tuesday of each month. And the word shall is included in this code language, and shall doesn't mean it's optional. And I guess, Mr. City Attorney, I know you walked in a little bit late, but I called a point of order.
I will have to pull up that code section, but as I heard you read it, I didn't prevent you from holding this meeting. It said you will hold meeting on other nights, but it didn't say you won't hold meetings on this night, as I heard you say.
It said shall. It doesn't say anything about other meetings. It says committee of the whole shall precede regular meetings of the city council on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. It says shall.
Right, but it doesn't say shall not meet on other nights.
So the meeting was moved because of elections last week, so that's why the council meeting was moved to this week as well.
It doesn't say a lot of things, Mr. City Attorney. But what it does say is when these meetings shall be held.
But if your point of order is can we meet tonight, it doesn't prohibit that. We're properly noticed for this meeting tonight.
Okay. Anything else from the council regarding this? Okay. Moving on.
Public comment? Any public comment?
Diana Zielinski, 4572 South Packard Avenue, Cudahy. I just want to bring it to your attention that according to Wisconsin State Statutes 19.90, a reasonable effort shall be taken to accommodate anyone who wants to record, film, or photograph an open session of a common council meeting. Recording or photography may not disturb the meeting, but may take place. Thank you.
Any other comment?
Skip Jenkins, 2636 East Eaton Lane. Okay. I can't wait to hear your explanation. Why would you not want transparency? What are you afraid of? My goodness. I can't think of, this is what it's all about, is public transparency. So we as citizens know what our elected officials are doing. And here you are, trying to take that little bit that we have, that some people may decide to film, take that away. And I would just ask, I can't wait for the conversation between all of you to hear this. But does this also include like the TV? Does this include this any of us? I don't understand. You need to explain to us what this is all about, because right now this is BS.
Any other comment?
I'll go. I was the one who proposed this, our alderman, so thank you. Thank you for putting this on the agenda. I just want to live
State
in
your name and address.
Thomas Martin, 3735 Pulaski. I just want to be able to get correct information when I'm able to make these meetings and not rely on Facebook rumors and misinformation, so thank you.
Any other comment?
Poplar, 4467 South Lake Drive, Cudahy, Wisconsin, 53110. I noticed on the new business today, it says discussion regarding public meeting audio and visual capabilities. Mayor Pavlik paid for this system that's behind me. What have we been waiting for? I mean, just waiting for us to, the group that's sitting on this side of this fence, to make a deal about it or whatever? I think this is really short-sighted on the city's part, that obviously former mayor spent a bunch of money on this system, which we can't barely see, most of us can't. But I just think, you're crazy if you don't. Thank you.
Any other comment?
Robert Goss, 3745 East Henry Avenue. So I think the problem with this is there was no explanation as to what this was. As you can tell, some people thought or believed, and I'm not even sure which way you're going with this, that it was, say, freedom of the press or freedom of speech. As Citizen Bob alluded to, this audio-visual capabilities was paid for by Mr. Pavlik, Mayor Pavlik at the time, and it was not maybe put forth to its full capabilities. Is that where we're going? And if so, why would we need a meeting for you to correct the audio-visual components for this room? I think if you would have did a little explanation prior to this, it might have cleared the thoughts of the citizens here. And thank you.
Any other comment?
Yeah, Tom Schmidt, 3954 East Birchwood. Just adding to what the other ones are saying, it was $128,000 we spent on this update in here. And it still isn't right. I was told in the last week and a half that someone is supposed to work on them voting lights because they are hooked up. It's something that's not programmed by someone, I don't know whose responsibility it is. Am I getting off the subject? Spending that kind of money and you got things that aren't working, that's actually what I thought this was all about, that maybe we were gonna maybe go after the contractor that when he left us with a mess. It's like we're guinea pigs. You know, how do I say this? Like when they go into biology class and they experiment with animals and stuff. It's no different than that sign we have out there. It's on a state highway, and we have to stop on a state highway because as it rotates, if you don't stop, you don't see it. The smartest thing that the Cudahy Fire Department did was built that smaller one, and it was on a corner, and everybody could see it. Besides that, it's a stop sign. That's it.
Any other comment?
Engineering 101.
Any other comment? Final call, any other comment? Moving on, old business, we have none. New business, item 1, discussion regarding public meeting audio and or visual capabilities.
Okay, so we've all heard, this was brought forward by a constituent of Alderperson Phillips, and he wasn't wrong. So I don't know where this misinformation comes from, who creates it, who dreams it up in their head. This was not about taking away anything from anybody, it's how we're gonna enhance the audio visual and get it out to people that can't make the meeting. That's what this is about. I recently was in Franklin for a meeting, They streamed it on YouTube, it was live, people could sign on, they could watch, but they couldn't participate. I think there's some legalities with that, but. So we brought it forward for the council to discuss. We're gonna have to get a history, you know, it was before my time when that system was installed here, so maybe you guys would know. Tim, maybe, I don't know. Find out what's wrong with it, why it doesn't work. Is it antiquated? Is it past its use? Is it old technology? Is it
Oh my God.
not compatible? I don't know. So, you know, so we're here to discuss. So the floor is yours.
I 100% agree. I think for transparency, we should be live streaming. I don't know why we aren't already. I don't know how old that is. It definitely is before I started as an alderman, so at least 5 years ago, or prior, but if anyone else knows, we should be using it if it has its capabilities.
Good.
So I sat on finance and I came to the meetings. I was not an older person at the time. The taxpayers paid for this, not Mayor Pavlik. So let's just keep that under consideration. Reading from the agenda from February 17th, 2021, it has exactly what is supposed to be included in this system. There was supposed to be electronic voting that never got put in. I don't know where that is. Mayor Pavlik's not here to explain what happened. There is a camera back there. In the quote, it does say that it has team capabilities and Zoom capabilities, as we have seen in conference room A, but I have never seen anyone use that. Also, at the same time, I believe it was brought up multiple times when the former first district alderperson was here about recording meetings as he live streamed it himself, was that the stipulation from the federal government as to closed captioning and the meeting laws as to what all is required. There was a very case with the Supreme Court at the time, and a lot of municipalities pulled it back and said, no, we're not going to justify being at risk for some type of a publication mishap. And I believe that that's what happened here. But it looks like everybody is opening up and being more considerate about that and understanding what happened with the Supreme Court case. I believe it was against Domino's at the time. So I think that now we actually can understand it, and I think we still have the capabilities of doing it. It's just a matter of how. But I would like to see, like, I didn't dig in far enough back, but I would like to see what we actually purchased compared to what's in this quote. Because what's in this quote, we don't all have here in front of us. And so, like the voting things, they're not attached up here anymore, Tom. That doesn't work. They removed it, so you can't vote. My understanding was when the system was put in, you were supposed to be able to click a button on this little microphone device, and it pops up on the screen.
You're right.
So that is, it's actually here listed in the quote, saying that there's electronic voting, but it never was put in. So I think that I would be in favor of making sure that we can televise this somehow, whether it's put it in Zoom. You don't have participation from the outside, but everybody can watch it in real time. And then it gets saved or archived, just like the voice recordings on the meetings.
Okay. Anybody else? Alderman Haynes.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of streaming this so residents that cannot make it to meetings be able to view from home or on their phone, tablet, laptop, whatever. And I'm a strong defender of the First Amendment, so this misperception that's been going on with social media is wrong. And I would also say this system is
needs to be updated, let's see if we can get it updated so we can do that. If not, what's it gonna look like for a different system and what the cost is? So we can provide that to our residents.
Alderperson Belko, you were here at that time. You were here, I wouldn't make you talk too long because you have bronchitis, but if you have any light to shed on this or.
We're the most silent building. I was here and, Alderman Phillips, as far as reading the minutes from that particular meeting, of course, as we know, it starts somewhere and it takes a journey. So I can't, say where the journey ended, and, as far as the items specifically and what the hang up, I recall, of course, the situation with, Alderman Morales, previous Alderman Morales wanting to do it, and there was legalities at the time, yes, again, that kind of pulled us back, from moving forward. Now, to me, it's, again, I was like, yeah, I was always an advocate for, of course, I've always been an advocate for transparency. So in the sense that we do have a camera back there, it's not particularly old, yeah, depending on the software itself, is probably more the issue, if anything, than the camera itself. Because those don't go out as fast as the software does, but I would ask the Attorney Larson to chime in to say, like, is there anything, new updates as far as any challenges as far, with the courts regarding doing audio and visual of open meetings for municipalities? I'm bringing that. Otherwise, like I said, we just need to pursue where we're at as far as our infrastructure, the technology, and so on, and move forward.
Do you want me to respond to that?
Yeah, please.
First of all, I don't know what the legal issues were. It may be the technological capability. If you don't have adequate technological capability, that would be a legal problem. But it's very common. I would say, you know, of my 65 municipalities, almost all of them have a remote option for attending the meeting. And some of them have actual ability to participate remotely, but some of them don't. So it can be done. There are some things that need to be set up properly for it to work. Everyone needs to be able to hear, everyone needs to be able to see, and you should have a policy on how it's going to work. With all remote stuff, I have had situations where during a meeting, somebody hijacks the system and projects images that we can't control. We have to shut it down. And that can be a problem, obviously. You need to have, but the better technologies, if you're willing to pay for them, will not allow that to happen. So if there are any specific legal questions, I'd be happy to comment on it, but in general, the legal hurdles can be overcome.
So this is put in 2021, is that what we think? That's what we know?
That's when the quote was from.
Okay, so do we create a policy for this at that time, or nothing ever got it? It just got installed and that was it? And we don't know?
So I have a little bit of information.
Okay.
The system was installed with the ability to expand on it or potential future streaming capabilities. There were concerns, especially at the time, with the Supreme Court case and being able to accommodate all relevant ADA requirements. They are extremely costly. The investment wasn't made to fully integrate the software with those capabilities because of all the questions that were happening at the time with the Supreme Court case. There is a system that allows the ability for the electronic viewing. However, it has its own separate hard drive, monitor, screen, everything is here. If you want to be able to see the viewing, we have to create the agenda in 2 separate locations, so it's multiple hours of time investment. And you cannot then be able to have any other viewing on the screens. It only shows them what the voting is, so you cannot then show or display the agendas at the same time. You would need multiple computers going and flipping the HDMI between those to be able to show everything that's happening. So it's a lot of investment. It was determined at the time that the amount of time it would take to create every agenda multiple times for every single meeting that was happening in here wasn't something that was requested to happen at that time.
That was for voting or for?
That was for the voting portion.
Okay.
As far as the streaming portion, it was implemented without it, but the ability to add on to be able to allow it to happen if the investment was ever made to be able to make sure that the software can handle the legal requirements for ADA.
In regards to the technology, and I understand we need two different systems. With the technology, with these TVs, these screens, aren't you able to split screen that?
We would have to check with the installers. As far as I'm aware, it's one or the other. There's one HDMI that's set up. They haven't given us any information as far as I'm aware of, because I was not that hands-on with the installation, obviously, whether or not you can split screen.
Yeah, cause I know the technology's there, cause, you know, people split screen their TVs.
I think it depends on the
sports.
TV though, I don't know what these TVs are, but.
Right.
Michelle?
Yeah, I get, I guess I'm in a quandary because there's such a variation of the benchmark out there. If you watch St. Francis's, it's just them talking. There's no, you don't get to see the agenda. You just get to, it's a video and audio. And again, that's why I asked the question of Attorney Larson. I mean, if there's requirements, I guess it'd be good to bring those forward again and then mitigate, as far as, like I said, that risk of how much of the technology we really need to have. Again, they're kind of the only ones I've watched lately. I have to say, I love these. So there's lots of people's meetings, but yeah. But that one I happened to look at most recently, probably the last few months because of the topic. I think the high rise I was interested in.
Yeah, the meeting I was at last week in Franklin, like I said, they were streaming it live on YouTube and then it was recorded and posted on their site, but there was no agenda posted, it was just a meeting.
Yeah, so you could probably, again, make it available for people, and again, whatever the laws are, so we could, again, certainly don't wanna put our community at risk, or at least mitigate risk, right? That's the thing, but make it available, so, but it seems like there's a bunch of different levels out there, right?
And I think right now with Google Meets and Zoom both, you can definitely toggle back and forth between screens, and Google has the capacity to do closed captioning for free. So
Let me clarify. So I'm not talking about streaming where they can see the agenda, see this. I'm talking about in this room. So in this room on these screens, if you want to be able to see the voting, the agenda then can't be on the screen. So it's one or the other in this room. If we wanted to be able to do it some other way while we're streaming, that would be something else to investigate, but just specifically for in this room, if you want to see the electronic voting, I would have to disconnect from here, plug it into another computer, as well as duplicate the agenda in the software as well.
Good.
I think we're over the voting, electronic voting. I think that we can do that verbally however you want. Yeah, that's kind of how it was sold to us, but I think the biggest thing that we should be able to implement right away is being able to record it and come up with a policy for that.
Yeah, I mean, was all the equipment installed? Cause then my next question is, we paid for it, but didn't get it, so then.
It looks like it. There's a camera back there.
Is there something missing? Yeah, I know.
I guess, that's a staff, I guess, requested that they have to just go back and pull the final bill, and they have to get paid, right? And so there has to be a receipt, statements, invoice, and so on, from beyond, as we know how we work around here, to get an estimate, and then the final bill, and what is paying. So, without having that documentation handy, but I don't think anybody does right now, but certainly, I would request that staff take a look at that and kind of see, do an inventory, like, where are we at? And, you know, again, what would we need to do to move forward, and if there's unfortunately, additional, costs to that financially, we'd have to just assess that, based on our budget this year. But do the best we can. I mean, yes, because it sounds very odd, like, why can't we, you know, if we, you know, people are doing it with their phones, like, it should be simple, right? So the truth, St. Francis used to set up with just a camera, and a tripod, years ago, so, it is pretty simple, I mean, that is a camera, it's like, if it's you know, go somewhere, unless the wire doesn't go anywhere, and it's just like, you know, facade, but I don't know if we've ever used it for anything as far as this meeting, not that I've ever been part of it, I don't think, but, it's just doing assessment and see.
I would also, like to see if we go forward with this, which I hope we do, the links to the videos be put on the website.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep. Okay, so, anybody else? Alright, so I think clear direction, staff is gonna look into it and hopefully come back with some answers on what we need to do, in short order, so. Any other any discussion, other discussion regarding this? No? Okay. With that, I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Alderperson Haynes, seconded by Alderperson Levy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And now we are adjourned at 6:28.